Hey, it's Eric here at Peachtree Classic Cars. I've got a 1964 Chevrolet C-10 truck, and I don't normally do this, but I'm just throwing this one up as is. We usually buy a truck like this, and we throw about $500-600 at it, and then flip it, you know. And I usually sell a truck like this with a few things done to it for around, I don't know, $13,000 or so, you know, $12,900. But I'm putting it up a lot cheaper. It needs a few things. Let's take it for a spin. The one thing that it doesn't need is anything mechanical. It's a very reliable driver. Somebody's put the shifter here on the floor. Shifts through the gears nice. Still a little cold. It's a little cold start there, but I hadn't driven this truck in probably about a week. And I walked out there and just touched the key and she fired right up. Drives real straight. It's got power steering, power disc brakes. Just an easy driving truck. Love power steering. What did we ever do without power steering? I say that, but I've got non-power steering trucks that drive great. It's got a nice sounding exhaust. Sound like an old truck. Nice V8. Seems like I've timed this. Seems like I timed this bus perfect. I'm going to shut her off and then we'll take a look around. 350 V8 or a small block Chevy V8. I didn't pull the block numbers on it, assuming it's a 350. Power steering. It's got power brakes. It's got a late model front end underneath it. The frame's never been cut. It's been bolted up, giving it a, you know, a little bit better suspension. Of course, power disc brakes in the front. And this truck surprised me. Actually, my wife and I, when we went to pick it up, I drove and I didn't say anything at first, and she looked at me and she said, you know, for the way it looks, kind of rat roddy or kind of shop truck, she said, this truck drives really smooth. And I said, it really does. This truck drives really smooth. So I think this would be an easy shop truck, and it's something I would throw $500 or $700 at, and then, you know, typically do that and typically try to make a little bit more money on it. But you know, we're just slammed at the shop right now, and I don't have time to do this one. I'm working on so many other projects, got 4 or 5 other irons in the fire, as they say. So typical kind of shop truck. It's actually pretty solid, pretty clean. A couple things I'd do to it. First, really probably put some thicker tires on it. The back tires are actually in good shape. The front tires are worn out and they're just really too thin. So I'd put something with a little bit more meat on it, you know. And these are worn. I mean, you can see the bands. It's time to replace them. They're holding air, but time to replace those tires. Are not very expensive. You can get them online, have them shipped to the house or shipped to Tires Plus. Walking around the truck, the body's overall pretty good. I mean, I think a lot of the value in it is for what it is. I like the patina. I'd probably scuff it up a little more, shoot a clear coat on it, call it a day. You know, throw $50 worth of clear coat on it. So obviously somebody must have had some sort of hood scoop, decorative hood scoop on it at some point. There are some holes here in the hood, but for a shop truck, that probably wouldn't bother me much. Another dent over here. And like I said, for me, when I'm thinking about shop truck, I feel like all this stuff to me is character. Now, the next guy might argue with me or watch this video and say, that's stupid. You know, that's just a bunch of, you know, body work that's got to be done. Well, that's true. If you want the truck to be perfect, you can always replace a fender or knock those dents out. But like I said, again, for me, the value in the truck is I like the patina. Body's straight down the sides. The hood's nice and straight. Couple of tiny little spots down here on the rockers. There's a few little tiny bubbles there, a few little tiny bubbles here. but nothing major. Little spot, you know, there's a few spots of rust here and there on the truck. It's not rust free, but it's not all eaten up. See if I can get the camera to change there. You know, some surface rust, and sides of the bed are in good shape. Inside the bed's actually pretty good. It's got a fuel cell. Somebody wanted to get rid of the fuel tank from inside. Personally, I'd probably move the tank to the back underneath. Wouldn't be very hard to do. I'd put an original bumper back on it. They cost about $175. Sides of the driver's side fenders in nice shape as well. Cab corner on this side looks pretty good. Little spot of rust there on the door, bottom of the rocker, a couple bubbles here. Goodness, pollen season underneath this truck was actually pretty solid. That was one of the reasons I wanted to scoop it up. These are the original floor pans. Nobody's cleaned them up. You know, there's a spot here. This is pretty common. You know, these little spots of rust would be real easy to clean up, but nobody's patched anything. Nobody's sprayed undercoating, tried to cover anything. So, nice and solid. And we were just cruising about 65 miles an hour in the Georgia mountains when I bought this truck. And just impressed. Like I said, my wife and I both impressed with how well it ran. This side's a little more solid, I feel like, than the other, without, you know, the rust spots. This is all solid. Georgia red clay under here. Rockers are real good shape. Original floor pans. No rust on the frame whatsoever that I see. Cab to floor mounts, cab to frame mounts are all in great shape from what I can tell. Look, I mean, inside these fenders are rust free. So, you know, that appearance on the outside's a little bit raw, but like I said, a lot for us is, you know, this is kind of shop truck material. Somebody cut holes in the doors on both sides to put speakers. Personally, I'd probably just throw some speakers back in there. You know, it's a shop truck, put a stereo in it, put some speakers in the doors, maybe throw a subwoofer behind. You know, it's funny, I did not notice this. The original tank is still back there. I would actually, I don't know why the hell they put the freaking fuel cell in the back, but I'd probably put this original tank back, you know, back to functional. Pull it out, clean it, and make it functional again. Sometimes I don't understand. People do strange things I don't understand, and I'm not going to make excuses for them. Needs an ashtray, a stereo, aftermarket gauges. I think are all working except for the fuel gauge, because obviously the old fuel gauge not hooked up, or old fuel tank. Ripping the seat. $170 at LMC, get a new seat cover, you know, factory original style, dome light. But look at these floor pans. Like I said, again, you know, this was the reason why. So if it was my truck, I'll go through a quick list and even prices. Radio, Walmart, $89. You get the CD player, MP3, and speakers. Cost $109 for a new carpet kit. I'd do that. $175 for a seat cover. I'd do that. Probably about $100 each on the tires. I'd put those on. Put a new bumper on the back. $175. Pull those wheels off. Paint the calipers and the rotors in the back. You know, maybe black, and drive it. Maybe do an engine dress kit. You can buy those anywhere from $50 for all chrome up to, you know, the vented aluminum, and those are you know what, $175. So we're not talking about a lot of money. Maybe scuff it up, shoot some clear coat on it that cost $75, $75 to get a thing of clear coat at Summit Racing. So very minimal. The glass is in great shape. I believe the windshield wipers even work. I got a little bit of pollen on me. Rubber in this windshield's looking real good. Glass, actually, it looks like the windshield was replaced at some recently, because it's in really great shape. Yeah, looks like it was. Glass on the vents. Actually, I don't know that there's any broken glass. I know that this window was acting a little funky, but it seems like it's okay now. The felt needs to be replaced here if you want. The thing about a truck like this, and we did this with the 67 that we just restored, is that you can do all this extra stuff and then you can start nitpicking it, and you can throw lots of money at it, but you don't have to. So this is a great way to get into a truck. I'm going to put this thing under 10 grand, which is unheard of usually for what we do. Like I said, whatever I just named off, grab the calculator, Put it all together, I'm gonna say what, 700 bucks or so. And then like I said, I'd throw 700 bucks at this truck in my shop if I had the time, and I'm gonna increase the value by $2,500. So there you have it. Drives, I mean, the big selling point for me in this truck is the fact that I love these wheels too, by the way. They're real expensive wheels, and just polishing them would make them look brand new again. I love this truck because I think it's a shop truck just about ready to go. Be a real easy project. You can drive it while you project on it, enjoy it. The lights do work, the brake lights work, the turn signals don't. I believe the windshield wipers do, but I can't remember. Let's just double check right now. And then I'll let you go. Actually, no, I guess there's no switches for that. The light switch does work and the lights do work. Other than that, looks like the other original switches are missing. And you can put those in as needed. Obviously, you can put a wiper switch in. It may be under there. There's some wiring under here. This is a newer, late model, you know, looks like 80s steering column would tilt. So maybe even hook the linkage up here and eliminate the floor shifter if you wanted, just little stuff like that. But cool truck. And man, I'm telling you, this truck drives down the road really smooth. It'll surprise you at how smooth it is. And with some new tires on the front, maybe the same size, you know, tires as what you got in the back, or just a hair smaller, this thing would be lickety split, ready to drive.